We are Cedar Grove Composting, one of the leading organics recyclers in Washington State, and we are so excited to start composting with you. At Cedar Grove, we divert over 350,000 tons of organic material from the landfill every year and transform food and yard waste into nutrient-rich soil that goes back into the community in so many ways.
30% of what we send to the landfill is organic waste. A common misconception is that food will decompose in landfills because it is organic matter. However, this is false. Your apple and your banana peel can hold its form for over a decade in the landfill and emit a gas called methane, which traps in 30 times more heat than carbon dioxide. A solution to this is composting, where organic matter is recycled into compost and put back into the community and environment. In the city of Seattle, recycling organics has been required since 2009, but as of January 2024, it is now required statewide by law, affecting businesses and residents all across Washington.
The good news is, recycling organics is easy. Here are some helpful tips and tricks to help you set up for success when implementing organics recycling in your school. First, it's important to have the proper waste set up to avoid confusion and train staff and students on what goes where. Every waste station should have at least 4 containers: a blue container for recycling, a black container for landfill, a green or brown container for compost, and a 5-gallon bucket with a strainer for liquids. Color can be the easiest tool to train staff and students on what goes in the containers, so making sure they can be easily identified is very important. Blue, black, green, and brown are all universal colors for these waste streams, and we recommend sticking with these colors across the district.
Along with having the proper containers, it's important to invest in the correct bag liners as well to avoid confusion and train staff and students on what goes where. Utilizing bags for every container will help keep them cleaner for longer. For recycling, most haulers prefer the items to be clean, dry, and loose in the container. However, plastic bags are helpful to capture all recyclable materials that may have small amounts of liquid remaining. Having a dump bucket will allow for students and staff to empty all remaining liquids before disposing of their recyclables. Once all of the liquid is captured after every lunch period, it should be properly disposed of in the back of house or janitorial dump stations.
For the garbage containers, we recommend using black plastic bags since black and gray are universal colors for garbage and landfill. For the compost containers, we only accept certified compostable bags. This is because plastic will not break down in the compost process, therefore would contaminate the food waste stream. When investing in compostable bags, keep in mind the 3 key identifiers for all compostable products.
First, the item must be green, brown, or beige. It must say the word compostable, and it must be tested and certified through a third-party certifier.
Here at Cedar Grove, our third-party certifier is CMA, which stands for Compost Manufacturing Alliance, and they field test products at our facility to make sure they can break down in our compost piles.
For more information on this process or where to purchase compostable bag liners or other products, please reach out to C. Gore at cgcompost.com. After setting up your waste station with the appropriate bags, it's important to have coordinating signage to avoid confusion and train staff and students on what goes where. The signage should be large, be posted at eye level, contain mostly images, and color coordinate with the color of the appropriate container. It's important to note that not every waste hauler accepts the same material, so make sure to double-check with your haulers to confirm what they accept in their stream before posting signage.
Now that you have a proper waste set up in your school, here are some helpful tips and tricks to keep in mind.
For our first tip, we recommend having a pair of tongs at the waste stations. These are super handy when there is contamination in the container that may need to be removed. Contamination is our biggest barrier in the recycling world and is considered anything that is not accepted in that stream. For example, a soda can is not accepted in the compost container since it cannot break down in the compost process. Therefore, it would have to be removed and put into the recycling. Keep in mind, anything put into the green compost bin will go into the compost process, so it's important to keep the stream clean for a healthy compost. Tip number 2. We recommend investing in 23-gallon green Slim Jims for the compost containers. We have found that big barrels filled with food waste can become difficult to manage, so keeping the container smaller will help with weight control. Tip number 3. Instead of waiting until the food waste container is full to try to remove the bag, tie the compostable bags when the container gets half full. Remember, food waste can get very heavy, very fast in a school cafeteria, so we recommend tying the bags when the container is about half full and putting another bag on top for the rest of the lunch period. This will help reduce ripping and tearing of the compostable bags
and possible injuries caused by heavy lifting.
It's important to note that unlike plastic bags, certified compostable bags have a shelf life since they are made to break down along with food waste. Another helpful tip is ordering no more than 3 months' worth of compostable bags at a time to avoid premature tearing or ripping from older bags. Our last tip depends if your school uses durables. Durables are dense plastic or metal materials that can be cleaned and reused. Some schools may have rotating windows to collect durables such as trays used in the lunchroom. If not, for our last tip, we recommend having a small table set up next to the waste station for students to stack trays once everything has been properly disposed of. We have found that this helps keep the waste stations organized during a busy lunch period. As a recap, we reviewed containers, bags, tips and tricks to help you set up a successful waste station in your school. To learn more about what's accepted in the food waste bin and Cedar Grove's compost process, check out our food and compostables video.